The sun is a physical weight. It sits on my shoulders and pushes me into the red dirt. I wipe the grit from my eyes with the back of a greasy hand. My skin is the color of old leather now. I am 54 years old. I am kneeling in the dust of the great artesian basin. The wind tastes like copper and dead grass. I am trying to fix a pump that should have been replaced 10 years ago. The metal is hot enough to blister. I use a rag to grip the wrench. My husband Frank always said this land would provide if we respected it. Frank has been dead for 18 months. The land is not providing. The bank manager is named Mr. Henderson. He wears suits that cost more than my ute. He calls me dear when he thinks I am not looking at the clock. He is coming at 4 o'clock today. I have 3 hours. If the water isn't flowing by the time he pulls up the driveway, he will mark the file. He will say a woman alone cannot manage 5,000 acres of drought. He will say the risk is too high. The wrench slips. I bark my knuckles against the iron casing. I do not cry. Crying wastes salt and water. I just stare at the blood blooming on my skin. It is the only thing with moisture for miles. I pull the casing off. The gears are jammed with fine red silt. It is everywhere. It is in the engine. It is in my lungs. It is in the foundation of the house. I work the screwdriver into the gap. I need to clear the teeth. If I can get the motor to turn, the troughs will fill. If the troughs fill, the cattle stay alive. If the cattle stay alive, I am still a farmer. The silence out here is heavy. It is not a peaceful silence. It is the sound of things waiting to die. I can hear my own heartbeat in my ears. It is fast and shallow. I check my watch. 2 hours and 15 minutes. I stand up to get the degreaser from the back of the truck. My knees pop like dry sticks. The heat shimmer makes the horizon look like a lake. It is a lie. There is no water for 40 kilometers. Not since the creek turned into a scar on the earth. I look at the house. The paint is peeling. The veranda is sagging. It looks like a skeleton. I find the spray. I go back to the pump. I start scrubbing. My fingers are cramped into claws. I think about the city. My sister wants me to move to Adelaide. She says I could have a garden that stays green. I don't want a green garden. I want this red dust. I want the smell of the rain that hasn't come. I want the 5 generations of my family who are buried in the ridge behind the shed. If I leave, they are just bones in someone else's paddock. If I leave, Henderson wins. He wants to sell this block to the mining company. He told me that over tea. He thought he was being kind. He said I deserved a rest. He said a woman my age shouldn't be hauling salt blocks. He didn't mention that the mining company pays a finder's fee to the bank. I saw the greed in his eyes. 1 hour and 40 minutes. I reassemble the gears. My hands are shaking. I try to steady them. I think about Frank. He was the one who spoke to the banks. I stayed in the paddocks. That was my mistake. I let him be the face of the business. Now the bank sees me as a shadow. They see a liability. They see a widow who is losing her grip. I prime the pump. I pour the last of my drinking water into the intake. It feels like a sacrifice. I grab the crank handle. I lean my weight into it. The engine coughs. A cloud of black smoke hits me in the face. I choke on the fumes. It dies. The silence returns. It feels louder than the engine. I try again. My shoulder screams. The muscles are knotted and hard. I am too thin. I haven't been eating enough. I've been feeding the stock instead. I pull the handle. Nothing. I pull it again. The metal is slick with my sweat. I am losing time. I look at the long driveway. Any minute, a white SUV will appear. I take a breath. I close my eyes. I put my hand on the pump. It's hot. I talk to it. I don't pray. I demand. I tell the earth to give me what is mine. I throw my entire body into the next turn. The crank kicks back. It nearly breaks my wrist. Then the motor catches. It sputters. It groans. It roars. The vibration shakes the ground. I run to the outlet pipe. I wait. I hold my breath. There is a gurgling sound deep in the throat of the earth. A burst of brown, muddy sludge hits the trough. Then it turns gray. Then it turns clear. It is cold. I put my hands under it. I put my face into the stream. I am laughing and I am gasping. The water smells like sulfur and old stone. It is beautiful. I watch the trough fill. The cattle start to move toward the sound from across the paddock. They are thin. Their ribs show. But they are moving. They smell the life coming back. I stand up and wipe my face. I look at my watch. 20 minutes. I walk back to the house. I don't change my clothes. I want Henderson to see the grease. I want him to see the red dirt under my fingernails. I want him to know what work looks like. I sit on the veranda steps. I drink a glass of the bore water. It tastes terrible. It tastes like victory. I see the dust cloud on the horizon. The white SUV is coming. Henderson pulls up. He steps out of the car. He is squinting against the glare. He looks at his polished shoes. He looks at me. He looks at the pump humming in the distance. He walks over to the trough. He sees the water. He sees the cattle drinking. His face doesn't change, but his shoulders drop. He knows he can't sign the papers today. He stays for 10 minutes. He talks about the weather. He talks about the market prices. He doesn't look me in the eye. He gets back in his car and drives away. I sit there until the sun starts to dip. The sky turns purple and orange. The heat begins to bleed out of the air. I am exhausted. My body feels like it is made of lead. I won. I kept the dirt. I kept the bones of my ghosts. But I look at my hands. They are ruined. I look at the paddock. The water is running, but the grass is still dead. The pump is old. It will break again. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. I am fighting a war against a continent. I am one woman with a wrench and a failing heart. I walk inside the quiet house. I don't turn on the lights. I sit in the dark and listen to the pump. It is a steady, mechanical heartbeat. It is the only thing keeping us alive. I saved the farm today, but I am tired of saving things. I wonder how many more times I can pull that crank before my bones give up. I lie down on the bed. I don't take off my boots. I am too tired to move. I close my eyes and I dream of the rain. In my dream, it never stops falling. When I wake up, the sun will be back. The dust will be back. I will get up and I will do it again. Because the dirt doesn't care if I'm a woman. It only cares if I stay. I am staying. For now.